The Historian in Residence scheme by Dublin City Council is a very progressive step which was taken to bring history into the community and I suppose to draw together the huge interest in our history, both local, civic and national. When this was initiated, it was at a key point in the decade of centenaries, and the City Council had seen the huge interest in the run-up to the 1913 lockout and the 1916 rising centenaries, and communities rediscovering their role in those events, and also families as well, rediscovering the role of family members. The council played really a key part in helping to organise events, fund events, sponsor events and so on. So it was felt that creating the scheme of historians in residence would really enhance that connection.
We also saw it as a great opportunity to tell people about the collections we have in places like where we are today, Dublin City Library and Archive, where we have material going right back to the Middle Ages, right up to modern day. We want to get the word out to people out and around the city, around the suburbs, and provide them with an easy way to find out what we hold here, how we can help them discover more about their own history and the history of the area they live in, the history of their city.
That's where the historian in residence comes in, joining up all those pieces. And if we want people to engage with their history, we need them to go back to primary sources. And one of the best primary sources we have in the city are located in the Dublin City Library and Archive. So as part of my role, I'm encouraging groups to go and visit the archive when it's possible to do so. But even if they can't visit it, they can engage online and find the things that are available in the archive that are relevant to their local area, local stories that are connected to the national story or even the international story.
As a historian in residence, we do lots of different activities all across Dublin. We give talks at libraries, community centres, other venues. Sometimes we also get involved in exhibitions, and other times we'll just arrange meetings with different people, history societies, people that might be carrying out research. And there's always something different in a role like this. You're always meeting people that have different requests or different interests. So it's very important to think about the audience and what it is exactly they want in order to make an initiative like this work.
In 2018, the first History on Your Doorstep was done, and it's a publication where each of the then historians in residence wrote a chapter that related to local history they had worked on in the area in which they were based. And it turned out to be extremely popular.
Well, I've always felt there's a big need for historians to engage with the public and to be accessible. And I think that's the biggest strength of the Historian in Residence programme, that it's for people who don't necessarily have a qualification in history, who just have to have an active interest in it. And the job we do is really engage with communities and people who probably were kind of outside of the sphere of engagement before from a history perspective. So I think it's that public engagement element, connecting with people.
It's also extremely important as an empowering exercise. It helps people realise that their history and their stories are every bit as important as what Micheál Martin or whoever is doing in the Dáil and others have done before them.
It's just explaining the ordinary, and the ordinary becomes extraordinary. And I've got deep roots to this area, Both sides of my family have deep roots here, and it's just wonderful and brilliant to explore, so your sense of place is enriched.
You feel like you're part of it. You can live somewhere but never really be part of it. But when you start living in a place and you start participating in it, it changes.
And the history, the message, the story presented by Cormac answers some of that. Who are we? Who are we as Irish people, as Dubliners? Why are we the way we are today? And well, it keeps us going. It's part of our mission too, to grapple with a big issue of today, which is loneliness. It's not only old men, it's also a societal problem. And it's guys like Cormac gives us something to get out of ourselves and come and socialise, which is more important than bread.
In September 2020, we appointed Dervilia Roche as Dublin's first historian in residence for children, and that was a great way to augment, I suppose, what was already a really strong programme by adding a focus on and by children, I suppose, for history and kind of sparking that love of history.
So the idea of this role is that we're engaging children with local history and other aspects of history, so trying to bring history to life for them. So working with schools but also outside of schools on lots of activities and workshops, and it's all led by the children, so their ideas and their feedback are what kind of determine the different things that we do.
Personally, I'm a big history fanatic. It's an area rich in history as well. We're beside here the Guinness Storehouse, or the canal, which we're studying at the moment. And not just me, but the kids have a huge interest in it as well. They love finding out about their local area. They're so interested in where they grew up in and what it was like in the past. The excitement and amazement on their faces when they see the canal back then to what it was now, it's priceless. Better than any textbook can ever give you. So it's really interesting, it's really good.
Tá súlgam go mé éireacht geal éireacht sever ag an scéim seo na stairthe atá againn sa chathair tá sé déanamh obair ionach táhachtach agus tá súlgam go leanfaidh an scéim seo ar aghaidh.